Business is more than grinding to get it done. It's people, process, and payroll done right. It's protecting your team, leveraging every penny out of every dollar to build and grow. From HR to insurance, from strategy to scale. We give you the playbook so you don't have to figure it out the hard way. This is the PEO Playbook, hosted by Chad Filley with Staff Brokers Inc. Get valuable insights and learn to grow your team without HR headaches. Let's get started.
Hey, good morning. This is Chad Filley with the PEO Playbook and Staff Brokers here to talk to you guys a little bit about PEO, which is professional employer organizations, and how they help impact small businesses to focus on the revenue-producing functions of their business to help them grow and not be tied up in the everyday headaches associated with employees and back office stuff. Here with me today is Marty Gray. He is the CEO of Staff Brokers, and he's going to help us with answering some questions about professional employer organizations and how they're designed to help small businesses succeed and compete against corporate giants. Marty. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited to start the PEO Playbook. Staff Brokers was started with the concept of representing multiple PEOs. And at its core, the PEO is an organization that exercises the economy of scale of large businesses and brings them to the smaller business. But that doesn't fit. Each PEO doesn't fit every individual client that we have. We have white-collar clients. We have blue-collar clients. We have clients who are more interested in healthcare. The concept of PEO is broad in nature. What we've done is gone out and found multiple PEOs that we can then in turn pinpoint which one is the best for our particular client. And that's worked out really well for us. Staff Broker started in 2000, so we've been around for 25 years now. We work with a host of different insurance agents as a wholesaler. We work directly with clients as a wholesaler. So the business has been blessed and grown quite a bit.
Very good. You had mentioned in there some stuff about economies of scale. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that and how that works for the small businesses?
Well, the main product would be workers' compensation. And the average small business owner has to come in with a relatively large 30-40% deposit on their worker comp policies. They then in turn go through this large audit every year to determine whether they've underpaid or overpaid on their comp policy. But with a PEO, it's almost like a perfect science because each week we're taking out the premium based on that week's payroll. For some businesses, this is a huge advantage when it comes to their cash flow. Think of a construction company. He's 5 guys. He's working hard every day, but then all of a sudden he gets a big job and he upscales to 25 or 30 employees. That job lasts a total of a month to 2 months. Then he downscales back to his original 5 guys. 8 months later, he's getting an audit, and he may not have put aside all of the money necessary for that work comp period. And he's getting hit for the cash flow much later. So paying that cash flow or paying that premium on a weekly basis is when he's receiving and when he has the larger job. As far as the PEO goes, they're buying their comp on a much larger scale. They're buying their comp in many cases with large deductibles because they're taking the risk. They're also bringing the risk management to claims. So they're able to buy it at a much lower price. They obviously pass that price on to the client. There's also a profit margin in there for the PEO. That's where they're making their money. Some also. It's a significant amount. We can typically save a client 10 to 15% on their workers' comp, depending upon where they're at in the industry pricing to other PEOs.
Okay. Does that same thing apply to the healthcare side of it, or is the same economies of scale in regards to healthcare?
It can. I wouldn't say it's as deep as 15 or 20%. It can definitely help. The PEO side of healthcare, you're still being individually underwritten when you're brought into the PEO. So think of it this way: if all we ever brought into the PEO was sick companies, those companies whose rates were extremely high, then
By sick, you mean as far as health of the employee base,
a history of bad health within that employee base. Take a 3-man group and one of them's got cancer. You bring on enough of those, you're going to tip the boat over, and you're going to have a poor healthcare plan. So we still underwrite healthcare from that perspective. Work comp's a little bit different. Work comp, you may have a company who's had some accidents, but the PEO is going to have that confidence of going in that they're going to be able to help that client manage those claims. Most what my experience is with most work comp claims is the legal side. The legal side of claims is quite honestly out of control. We're paying lawyers to defend. We're paying lawyers to go against us, and that's what balloons costs. So having efficient, quality procedures in place so that when a claim occurs, our client knows exactly what they need to put in writing, what occurred, when did it occur, who witnessed it, was there a drug test involved, where are we sending that employee? We don't want the employee just going to any random healthcare place. We want them going to where we want them to go, as far as, the local hospital that we have a relationship with, or a local medical care system that we have a relationship with. All of this helps manage claims from the very beginning, because you don't want an employee getting hurt and then not knowing what to do, which then just causes them to immediately go home and listen to the TV, which says call an attorney. That's what happens all the time when employees are put on a few days off because they're hurting, and now they're sitting on the couch and they're listening to the TV, which has bogged muns and muns on it.
You had made mention or a reference there to like a 5-person construction company. Is there a specific size requirement or size that's needed for PEO to be a good fit for a business?
That's a great question, and most people believe there is a size. There really isn't. We've excelled at the 1-man group, which grows into a 2-man group, which grows into a 5-man group, which grows into a 10-man. The individual entrepreneur still needs to have somebody process his payroll for him, do work comp for him, and help him in those very early days of his business until he starts the hiring process and bringing people on board. The same thing can be true for a 50-man, 100-man, 250-man company. You don't need an in-depth HR department with these large companies anymore. What the PEO brings to the table is a combination of the entire HR department. Payroll is just a portion of that. We have handbooks, we have legal questions, we have anything that an entrepreneur comes up with and he says, you know what, I kind of wish there was a place I could go to and ask a question. Well, there never used to be, but now we have it. The back office portion of the PEO can guide that entrepreneur through quite a few of the quagmire problems that are out there. An example might be I have an employee who is not up to par. I'm thinking that I want to get rid of them. but I want to try to push them through this difficult time that they're having right now and make them become a good employee before I do that. So there's programs that the PEO can kind of help with. One, a written program on writing the employee up on the problems that they're having so that they can identify them. Sometimes it's as simple as that. The employee doesn't recognize that what they're doing is wrong. So by writing them up and giving them that written notification, they recognize that there's a problem and the problem goes away and they move forward. But if it doesn't, then we have a written record of what's happened with this employee. So when time comes to terminate them, we can help fight any type of state unemployment or federal unemployment claims that occur. And these are the processes and the procedures that a PEO puts together that the small businessman just quite honestly gets overwhelmed with. I mean, at its core, we want our entrepreneurs to be good at what they do. If it's a carpenter, he swings a hammer and he orders lumber and he's building houses. We don't want him having to think of at night on procedures of what it is I need to do in case Jimmy isn't doing everything that I want him to do. And giving Jimmy all of the opportunities to become a better employee versus just automatically firing him. Investing in people is in employees is costly. So the PEO is actually there to help you retain your employees first before we're there to help you get rid of them in any way.
What would you say if you had to sum it up? It's just like the most straightforward, simple definition of PEO and professional employer organization.
So the industry's used multiple terms: employee leasing, PEO, professional employer organizations. At its heart, it's simply a larger parent organization that you are leasing or outsourcing the back office of your business so that they use it. There's a deep contract that we use. And what it at its core basically says is employees are operating under the PEO's federal ID number. So all taxes, all state and federal, are the employees operating under the PEO. So this helps from a lot of legal perspectives, and it kind of brings the operation for that small entrepreneur and his bookings and his books, his QuickBooks or his accounting, to a much simpler process. That process on his own would have, federal tax, state unemployment tax, the actual gross payroll, all of these entry points, where with a PEO, it's one line item. And that one line item is employee leasing. It's 100% deductible, just like all the list of all the other ones are. So that's a huge advantage for the entrepreneur not to have to be caught up with doing all of the books, including the payroll, of course.
So turning 5 to 10 deductions or accounting transactions into one on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, however it is that they're processing and handling their payroll.
Yep. Now the employee still has to calculate hours and turn those hours in, but the PEO can honestly help with modern technology on how to calculate those hours, and whether it's used through some form of clock management or signing in at a register or signing in on your cell phone. That time management is also a key part of being able to get the data over to your payroll processor and shortening that time frame also.
Can you elaborate a little bit more? You had, I think it was more in the intro, had talked about representing multiple PEOs and what it is that is done here at Staff Brokers, because what we were just talking about is what the PEO does versus what is Staff Brokers in the PEO playbook here to help businesses with.
So it kind of goes back to the origin story of staff brokers. There is a large number of PEOs out there. There are many options. Most PEOs have a single representative in your area who's selling their PEO. And I kind of, refer to it as the square object going into a round hole. That salesman's out there saying, I'm going to sell you my product. I don't care what happened or what you are, whether you're blue collar, white collar, whether you need health care, whether you're, have lots of cash flow or don't have lots of cash flow. We're going to sell you our product. Where the staff brokers method is more of a consultative sale. We're listening to what our product or what our clients' needs are, and then we're finding the PEO that's the best fit. Now that could be location, East Coast versus West Coast. That could be the fact that our client has had a lot of claims, and therefore is somebody who is not desirable by most work comp companies. And what we'll do is we'll put them in a program where maybe they all have a deductible. Maybe they're paying a little bit more than the average client, but we found them a home. And the opposite is true. Maybe we have a client who's been around 10 years and has never had a claim, but has never gotten anything more than 5% discount from their current work comp carrier. We might be able to walk in there with a good 10, 15% discount. We might be able to walk in there with a larger discount if the client's open to a deductible. And why would not a client be open to a deductible if they haven't had any claims in the last 5 to 10 years? So it's really more of a listening to our client, learning what their history has been from a claims perspective, finding out whether they're more risk oriented from their the nature of work that they do. Obviously roofers is a great example. We would expect roofers to have more claims than, let's say, a clerical person. And the first thing that a PEO does with roofing companies is they find out whether they're actually utilizing the safety and fall protection. Obviously, some of these guys, they just want to get up there and sling shingles. But having safety and fall protection is going to save them when there is some type of incident and somebody falls. This lowers their risk of large claims. Doesn't eliminate the fact that there might be a claim, but it certainly lowers the risk of large claims. And that's where our PEO partners feel they can go into that small entrepreneur and show them this is why you've had issues in the past, or these are the types of things that you might expect happen in the future. So this type of safety program, which leads us to what most entrepreneurs don't even have. Most entrepreneurs don't have a safety program. They don't have an employee handbook. So one of the things that a good quality PEO will do after you bring them on board is they might have a safety officer come out and visit with you. And that safety officer is going to give you some guiding points on what and where he might see some of your problems. So forklifts. We have claims on forklifts all the time. And it's amazing how many times those claims come in and it's somebody who hasn't been on a forklift for very long. So they don't have forklift training. So there might be a program that the safety officer could put into place with some videos and that type of management where any new employee who's going to be utilizing a forklift would have training via video online for usage and understand what might occur while they're using that piece of equipment. Also, with the management of claims, these are all things that the entrepreneur just needs to just let go and allow the PEO to be their partner and guide them through these processes. I think I mentioned the handbook. Most all companies, small businesses don't have a handbook. It's a relatively easy process. Once you become a client of a PEO, they'll send you over a fillable PDF that asks you questions and customizes it to your particular operation. And within the 30 to 60, 90 days, you're up and running with employee handbooks, and therefore you have these procedures. So when you do have a situation where an employee, maybe be using, I don't know, foul language or something like along those lines, you can actually go to your handbook and say, this is something we don't allow here. So you write them up, you let them know that that's not what you want. And this also is a holistic approach to, now we've let this person go, we've written them up, we're not going to lose with the PEO on our side having this type of record on the employee when it comes to management of unemployment claims.
All right, Marty. Well, thanks for all the insight and input there on PEO and some of the ins and outs of it. If you are looking or have questions about PEO, you can reach out to us at PEOplaybook.com. You'll be able to contact us through that site, and we will be able to help you with any questions or things that you may have come up with after listening to today's podcast. But appreciate your time being here with us today, and look forward to doing this again.
Thank you, Chad. And I would just encourage everybody to reach out to us. Chad and I are always here. We're constantly answering questions for employees and the employers, our client base. So give us an opportunity. We're definitely going to be your advocate, finding the best PEO for you, and then also being here to help coach you along the lines of any other problems that might come up. Or challenges that might come up. We're a good company to bounce ideas off of.
Till next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the PEO Playbook, where we help business owners unlock the power of PEOs and take their team to the next level. This episode was proudly brought to you by Legacy Sales Engineering. If you're ready to simplify HR, scale your business, and put the right team behind you, visit staffbroker.net to get started with Staff Brokers today.